Hi, I'm Tony Fleming, and this is Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today on this outstanding car. In this video here, we're going to walk around. Although it's a replica, it's done so well, and as we see some of the features that some people forget to add when they're doing a car like this, you'll see why this car not only looks great, but can be taken to a show. You can take it for a drive, because the original versions of these have crested the $100,000 mark, and it makes it very difficult to throw the kids in the back of your $100,000 muscle car and go get ice cream. In this case here, this car looks every bit of it. It acts every bit of it. As a matter of fact, it's probably got a little more power than it came from the factory with, and it's a great drive. So let's take a peek around. The one thing I like to talk about a lot of times is the quality of paint. You know, when you look at a car like this, and you guys are on the internet, you're looking at cars, click, 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 point, wow, that looks great, wow, that looks great. Of course, every car on the internet looks great for a reason. They want it to look great. But the truth of the matter is, and I buy cars all the time, is that these cars here can look great in pictures, but once they get to you, they're not exactly the same. For instance, like, great paint has to have clarity. You need to be able to see the kind of camera that the guy's using, what kind of shirt he has on. You need to be able to see his face crystal clear in the paint. So when you walk up, and I'll show you what I mean by that, when you walk up, you should be able to read everything, even the lens and stuff on the camera. You see? And it's the little stuff like this where the stripes are put on the car, and then they clear coat over them. Mirror finish Raven black paints. I love the gray stripes in it. It's not the bright white stripes that are in your face a lot of times. And because this car has a lot of scoops and hills and valleys and great pieces on it, you don't really need the white stripes to make the car pop anymore. It's nice and subtle. It's what we call like the velvet hammer, right? Let's take a peek under the hood for a second. We'll see some of the motivation. Actually, if we could, come around here I love these. This is what kind of sets this car off just a little bit more. What you're talking about is the old days of 15-inch wheels and tires. You know, the tires themselves had really big sidewalls, so they flexed a lot. And this car here has had a little bit of suspension updates. It has a little bit more power, and they wanted it to handle too. So by going to a lower profile tire and bigger wheels, they're able to get the flex out of the sidewall of the tire, and the car handles really nicely. This also has big disc brakes on it, and these tires here are rated to 150 miles an hour. All new chrome, stainless, great looking stripes, call outs and decals. It's got the scoops in the rear. The roll bar alone was a major expense on this car. Believe it or not, you have to take the entire interior apart. You have to weld everything in, and the roll bar, just the cost alone of it's a couple grand. So when you're looking at cars like this, the value tied up in the details that goes into it is really what you're paying for. And in this case here, it probably costs you twice as much to build this car as this car will sell for. Let's take a peek under the hood. This is what I'm talking about here. Back to details, right? So this here has been stroked to 400 cubic inches. It's got the Cleveland heads on it. And as we look, you know, things like tying up the suspension here, Monte Carlo bar, cross brace, the correct Cobra valve covers, an air cleaner there, and all the detail that goes into making these cars look nice. I love the light treatment here in the center of the grille. This is just a cool car. Even if you're not a Ford guy, you look at this car and go, wow, that is a cool car. Matter of fact, Justin and I, who like Fords, but maybe it's not our brand, we have our different brands, can't stop looking at this car and going, wow, that is one great car. And there's something about the way a Ford sounds that GM and Mopar have never been able to duplicate. By the way, I wanted to show you real quick, we had talked about the disc brakes, and I forgot to mention to you that it does have power disc brakes. And look at all the detail in here. Little stuff like that you might overlook when you're talking about things like the most expensive battery in the world, the Optima battery. It has that kind of battery, but that's really where I'm going with. That's the detail again that we're talking about, from the washer bag to the overflow bottle to the valve covers. Like just this setup alone here, just that setup alone there can run you around $700. You know, a really nice Optima battery is around 200 bucks, where a cheap regular battery would be 60. So it doesn't look like any shortcuts we're taking here, and I think that when you get it and you drive it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, let's check out inside for a second. You know, back to the detail. When you talk about something like the detail here, for instance, like the steering wheel alone. The steering wheel, we could have put a regular wood 3-spoke steering wheel in there, you know, for a couple $100. In this case here, this is somewhere around the $600 mark for the correct wood wheel with the rivets bent and then completely cleared over. Stainless 3 spokes, okay? This also has a tilt wheel, which is hidden. A lot of people don't know how that works. You just push that forward and like that. So if you push that like that, but it's part of that. I think that's a really cool touch. Check out the mats, original AM radio, all new restored dash. This car also has a digital sound system that will be installed in the glove box there and hidden so that you can get your favorite tunes, nobody sees it, and you can have your iPod, satellite radio, CD player, and keep the authenticity of the whole car going on. All new interior, new carpets, door panels, like we talked about the dash being detailed, this roll bar, awesome piece. I ordered a brand new boot for the car too. You know, it was nice looking, but it wasn't representative of what the whole car was, you know, with the nice shiny new snaps and things like that. Great looking. You know what we forgot to do? Let's take a peek in the trunk for a second. You know, to finish these cars up, they're very expensive to do all the right things. For instance, the taillights alone, that can run you a couple $1,000s because the whole taillight panel itself is very different than a regular Mustang. You have to get these extensions. The trunk is completely different. All this stuff has to be painted. You know, finishing up here, the exhaust tips look great. Backup lights are in place. Awesome, awesome badge. The stripes wrap and go all the way underneath the car, all the way to the front and underneath the front spoiler too, to finish everything off. Okay? So what we have here is the jack and spare goes there. The spare goes in here. We just took all that stuff out. This was an upgraded radio that goes in the car if you want it. And everything else is all kind of new and repainted and replated and repolished and what have you. I just can't get over how well detailed and beautiful the paint and stripes. It's just great looking. Like, look at this car, man. With the badges and call out. This car on the showroom must have been spectacular circa 1967. Enough of my rambling, although it seems like I'm very excited about the car, and I am. How about I start it for you, because the car just sounds, with the 400 stroker motor in it, it just sounds great. Of great cars, this is how you know this is a great car. For instance, like I drive this car to dinner with the wife, you know, and we pull up to you know, just some place that has you know, it's tight, so they have valet parking, and instead of leaving like the Bentley out front or some guy's Porsche or whatever, not that I don't love those cars too, they moved that guy's car out of the way and they parked this up front. And that's the difference that these cars send a message of. Everybody loves them. Even if you don't love cars, people love this car, and it's hard not to look at it. And it's just great driving. So I'm going to take it for a drive, and I'll see you the next time I get back. Hopefully you can get this in your driveway. Anyway, call us 301-816-1000, and we'll tell you anything you need to know about it.